my heart's, you know, and then it gets, and at some point I think, this is going to kill me. This is going to kill me. And then the weird thought came up again from the belly, and the thought just said, well, if this is what it takes to see whatever this drive is wanting to see or experience, okay. I don't think there's any direct causality between awakening and anything we do, but I think there's a lot of indirect causality, right? Because if it was direct causality, you just say, do this, this, and this, and like baking cookies. Put the right ingredients in the bowl, mix it up, put it in the oven, and boom, you have awakening.
People want that. They want the cookie recipe.
We all want that, right? I wanted that. You know, I wanted to be told, like, just tell me the thing, you know?
Right.
Tell me the magic. Tell me the... So, yeah, like, we all want that, but that's just not the way it works. But there is indirect causes and effect all over the place. So meditation, I think, yes, people have awakenings without any meditation. I've met people that wanted nothing to do with spirituality that had awakenings out of the blue. But 97%, 98% in my experience, they were doing some spiritual practice.
Well, let's hear about these openings as you're describing them, using that word, openings.
Well, as I told you, Tammy, I took my competitive spiritual athlete, you know, just train more than everybody else, and, you know, that whole attitude, which didn't really fit spirituality, but that's what I knew. So I took that in. And like I said, when the spiritual impulse was activated for me, kind of the enlightenment impulse, it's hard to convey how night and day, from one day to the next it was, and how strong it was. It occupied every single waking moment of every single day. Literally, every moment. Wow. Meditating, not meditating, going to work, walking down sidewalks. It was just there. This impulse was just pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and it was wanted something. I didn't know what the heck it wanted. So it was very strong.
But hold on, let me understand that, because this impulse, I mean, people, I think, maybe feel drives like that to find their soulmate or, you know, this thing. But when it comes to something as you're describing, the enlightenment impulse, I'm not sure people know in their own experience what that feels like, what made it an enlightenment impulse. What was going on inside?
It felt like at times, almost overwhelming internal intensity. I mean, I just walked around in an intense, like I just had to know what this enlightenment thing was. But the difference, the weird thing about it was totally impersonal. What I mean by that is usually we think, like you mentioned, I'm looking for my soulmate, or I want this, or I want that, those desires that we can have. This wasn't something that was coming from what I would think of as the kind of person who would have all those other desires. Like it was an invasion. That's what it felt like to me. It was almost like getting the flu. You know what I mean? Like I caught the flu, the spiritual flu, and I need to cure myself of this somehow. I mean, I didn't see it as a negative thing like that sounds like, but that's how it played out for me. I just kind of got myself so worked up. Like I just had to have a breakthrough. I was driving myself crazy. Literally, I would walk down every day, walking to the place where I work, walking down the sidewalk, and I would think, is this the day? Is this the day I just crack under the pressure and just fall apart? Because that's how much intensity there was around it. And then one morning I sit down to do my meditation, and I was just it seems so foreign to me now, like where I am, but at that time, I was just like, I got to have a breakthrough. I can't not. And all that sort of intensity and, you know, that athletic way of approaching it, and all of that just kind of crescendoed literally within a couple of minutes as I'm sitting there meditating. And it just crescendoed, and the like a wave breaking, you know, coming over when it comes over the lip and just starts to break. I literally just thought these words. This came up, which was, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't make a breakthrough happen. I can't force it. I'd come up against something that I couldn't compete with. It was like a moment of total failure. And as soon as I felt that, very viscerally, very powerfully felt that. It wasn't just a couple of thoughts. It was, when you're like just defeated, hands and knees, just, And all of a sudden there was just like a kind of an explosion of energy.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Explosion of energy.
Yeah.
Where in your body, outside your body, in the
Started
space?
right in the lower part of the belly, really like the bottom of the belly. And it was just this like energy release. And it just was like, the thing that I remember is when I watched some shows about space and they'll show like a supernova exploding or something, that visual, that's how it felt. So it started low and it just went up and up and up and hit my heart. And before you know it, I knew what my max heart rate was because I was an athlete, right? So I knew, okay, my max heart rate at that time was about 201 beats a minute. I was way, 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 way beyond that. My heart was, and then it gets, and at some point I think, this is going to kill me. This is going to kill me. And then the weird thought came up again from the belly, and the thought just said, well, if this is what it takes to see whatever this drive is wanting to see or experience, okay, I'll die today, now. And I remember being surprised by the thought, like, really? Really? But the answer was like, yeah, actually, I am. I will physically die today for this. And as soon as I had the thought, like I was willing to that, all of a sudden, all this energy and, I'd kind of been, it all just, like as fast as you can stop your fingers, it was gone. Just gone. And then I just started to have these insights coming. So everything came from the bottom up, and now the insights were just like pouring down, like someone had a pitcher of milk or something. They're just pouring them into me. And then at some point, everything just returned back to like really quiet. And this gradually, I noticed, oh, there's a heartbeat, and oh, there's a body here. Oh, there's my body. And, there I am, this 25-year-old kid sitting there, oh, what do you do now? Like, what was that? Holy smokes, and so I just decided, I guess I'll get up. And I did what I always did. I got up. I had a meditation hut in my parents' backyard. And I turned to my little altar and I bowed to my little Buddha factor. And somewhere between here and here, I just started cracking up. I mean, I laughed so hard.
You're crying now, but you laughed then.
Because it's still the laugh, but it's the tears are the being intimately touched, by that's the tears. There's still I can still feel the same joy and yeah. There's a theme of like intimacy through it all. I mean, so I bow to this thing. By the time I get up, I looked at that Buddha statue and I literally thought these words, which probably sound very strange given the talk we're having. And I literally went like, you little son of a bitch. I chased you like basically all over the universe and you end up to be me and I ended up to be you? You've got to be kidding. And I just thought it was the funniest damn thing in the world. Just the funniest thing. I just couldn't believe it. Like I'd been looking for this thing, and the thing I was looking for was the thing that was looking for it the whole time. So that was the first opening for me. Certainly the most dramatic.